Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Marshall here, and I'm bringing you another 1 vs 1 from a recent tournament. This is KillerKiwi, also known as I Don't Know What I'm Doing, remains to be seen, in Gunmetal Grey on the north of Overcooked Pizza. A lovely Theta Commander going bots, into mechs, into P-Gen, into Air Factory by the looks of things. Maybe straight into Air Factory? P-Gen Air Factory. And meanwhile, on the south, whoop, down here, we've got Nick in blue with his lovely Beast Commander going bots into bots. Bots, mechs, bots, triple power, Air Factory. This is going to give him a much more raiding potential early in the game and expandability compared to Kiwi. Though that being said, Kiwi will have that with the air fabs as long as he can get them around and about without being noticed. The Firefly coming out for scouting will be able to realise that Nick has not gone for an air factory as soon as Kiwi has, and so he might get a couple of air fabs out as a result of that. He comes in and sees no air. Having a gander, he sees a bot factory. He sees a second bot factory. He doesn't see an air factory, so he's going to be popping in some extra fabs. I wonder. There it is, straight away. Straight away, seeing that opportunity, so he'll get those fabs out and over to the other side of the planet somewhere, and getting that mechs. Meanwhile, the bot fabs will do what they can, and he'll add in maybe an extra P-Gen or two just to help those air fabs do their thing, because they do tend to draw more power than the other variants. Moving into vehicles and then vehicles later on, so only a light early bot presence from Kiwi compared to Nick's much heavier one. It's like Nick's going to be perceiving a much more raiding game this time, rather than a direct assault, whereas I think Kiwi wants to draw the battle lines much earlier, try and control these two passageways between the base. Maybe then edge out into bots or more mobility around the back, or maybe put up some proxy bases around the back of the map as well. We already see that with some strikers coming out of the vehicle factory, so he's still opting for movement. Even in the early vehicle factory, going for that movement. Anyway, Nick's air is out and about. And look at these air fabs. Look at that. Going straight down. Unfortunately, they will get seen, though. That's a big win for Nick. Very unfortunate for Kiwi. Problem is, it's a slight predictable location for an expansion, to be honest with you. A shame, really. Because if that got up, that would have been big for Kiwi. Very, very big indeed. It would lock down that 3 mechs and potentially threaten the next 5 as well. But alas. The Nick there with 2 fabs taken out, now threatening the approach down here. Just having a little scout there, seeing what's going on. Pulling the fabs back from Kiwi as Nick comes in with the docks and some sparks to follow up as well. Not a lot here to defend. Commander might have to go in. But all Nick wants to do is slow Kiwi down there. He's not going to push in super hard. Hasn't got the numbers for it. Pulls back, conserves his forces. Don't commit to a base attack if you're not actually going to do any damage, because you just waste your own forces. Typically on this map you do tend to see factories coming up near the volcano behind the spawn. As with both of them, it's a nice sort of intermediary staging point to start contesting this whole backside here, because otherwise it's quite away from your main base for things to go over the top of this platform and then round the back. So having a few forward factories is always a good idea, particularly on larger maps, or where access is limited indeed. Bugs coming up again from Nick. We'll face a couple of ants there on the front lines. Zoom out a little bit there so we can see what's going on. E2 already from Nick. This early juncture. Then again, typically I have heard that by and large you get about 5 or 6 factories and then you go into your T2. So perhaps it's not as early as I thought it was, counting the factories there. And coming up for Kiwi as well, both going for bots. Potentially for the Slammers or the Blue Hawks being able to fire over rocks and this, that and the other. Possibly even Locusts for the raidability of the rest of the map and the metal floating around. We'll have to see which one goes for which. Neither really focusing down their T2, just letting it build on its own merry time. Not rushing things. It's like an expansion there was taken down by Nick. Bit of a win there. Vehicle factory gone. Another one coming up here. We have got some defense. Haven't got enough bombers to take this down. Potentially lose a fabricator here. In fact, probably will unless bombers come in and help out. Gotta do it quick. Gotta do it quick. Oh, not quite. Will Nick micro that? I doubt it. Not really worth it for one docks. But if he can take out the fab, which he might do, he does. Nice pickup there. The bigger win, though, will be taking out this factory if he can manage that. Bringing with some tanks now as well. If he can take out this factory, I don't really see a need for this force to go into the base, but with this factory being the prime target, that'll be a big win if he can take this out. It'll set Kiwi back quite a way. As far as threatening the rest of the backside is concerned, just needs to push in a little more. And there goes. Beautifully done. Notice how Kiwi has something of a smaller army, but his T2 is out. The Slammers are on their way to help defend. He's going to have to micro it a little bit, maybe coming in with the commander or the Uber cannon. Gosh, what on earth has happened to my voice this cast? It's gone all over the place. Commander, though. Theta Commander, with his frowny face, has scared the army away. Yeah, with the Slammers as well. Nothing to do with the Slammers, of course. It's all the Theta Commander's expression. How dare you take out that factory? Here we go with some small raiding forces, nothing major. They give a little bit of scouting as well. I don't really think that's intended to do a huge amount of damage. How do you find my icon render distance, by the way? Do the icons disappear too early? Or do you want the icons to disappear further out? Let me know in the comments. Tell you what else you can do in the comments. And what you think of the game. Or any feedback. Or what you want to see more of. Let me know. Engagement always helps. You know what else is engagement? Likes and subscribes. Yeah, I went there. Meanwhile, battle lines are indeed being drawn down here between the lava and the volcano. Sniper bots and slammers there. Slammers a little bit on the front lines. Don't necessarily want to lose those slammers. Want to keep them alive as much as possible. Slammer on slammer action here, though. The sniper bots will want to take each other out. Nick gaining the upper hand there with many more T2 bots on the way. Kiwi needs to do something about this. He's struggling with his metal. Nick's early raid setting him back somewhat. Although that being said, look around the backside here. We've got loads of fabbers trying to re-expand. But what we don't really have is a lot of defensive Kiwi. We have some units from Kiwi elsewhere, but not a lot if Nick decided he actually wanted to push in with this. Hence the panic walls. Try and deal with things like snipers in advance. Kiwi's eco is not looking good. If he can get some of these locusts to actually do some damage, he could potentially salvage some metal in the meantime. But the problem is Nick's expansions are all defended by turrets. Almost sort of anticipating the locust play. But that doesn't mean there aren't some holes. Look at this. Right down there. Into the factory, into the mechs behind. That'll be a good approach vector. Let's keep an eye on them. Where they decide to go. What's happening around the back? Nick deciding to push in a little bit. Kiwi waiting with some forces. Ready to push in here, but Nick again has the defensive force, and this is again shows the power of having factories at your expansions. Allows you to have some kind of standing army in places. I don't really know why he's building a torpedo launcher on a non-naval planet, but there you go. Well done, Nick. If he loses this game, that will be his excuse. Oh, I built a torpedo launcher. It's like, well, whose fault is that? Right, here we go. Those locusts have stopped moving because the micro needs to be done here. This is where the attention needs to be. With those snipers, Kiwi needs to focus on managing his walls here. He's got a little bit of a respite. The air will move. Locusts back again over the middle. Nick establishing a front line here. Look, with Fabbers he's brought this army. But watch those locusts. Keep an eye on those locusts in the picture-in-picture. That could do some damage. There we go. Mech's down. Nom nom. More nomming. More nomming while Kiwi tries to move laterally here. Factory going to go down there with Locust. Lovely. More mechs. Don't get too close to that Inferno. Meanwhile, the fight still happens on the platform. Staying off it is Kiwi. Not wanting to move on into the line of fire. Staying down off the height there. Staying away from the line of fire. Nick now has T2 vehicles. Kiwi moving towards it. Starting to see the slant really towards Nick. I say starting. We've had a bit of a slant for a while. You know, I said if Nick loses this, he'll blame it on the torpedo launcher. I'd say if he wins this, it's because of the torpedo launcher, and I expect to see a torpedo launcher randomly in the middle of land on every Nick game going forwards. This commander is a little bit open. Kiwi, be careful with that commander. There he is, running away! The army coming back to deal with this. Meanwhile, pushing out on the front here. Flammers and snipers again, about to meet each other round the corner there. Single file is Nick moving into that. Very nice trade there for Kiwi. Meanwhile here, Kiwi moving onto the plateau. Nick retreating, doesn't want to push in, wants to keep this army alive. He knows that he can't do a lot of damage. And he doesn't have a follow-up force to do any more damage, so there's no point in sending it into its doom. Again here. I suppose if he could link those two armies up or maybe bait one away while the other moves in, that's a potential move. But instead, going for the expansions, crippling Kiwi's eco for the second time this game. If he can. Moving in on this little entrenchment. Those double laser turrets are too good for that puny little army. Here we go, Nick's force here starting to get encircled. But it's still moving a lot of Kiwi's forces. Kiwi is getting very tunnel visioned on this small army here. He's got to watch out for this one, and he doesn't want his forces to be out of position. Could this be what Nick's doing here, trying to bait away? Because this is a significant portion. 64. It's a significant portion of Kiwi's forces there. comes in. Bumblebees still exist, but there is a bit of AA in there. Only a smidgen. It's only one stinger. A couple of those bombers could do a lot of damage. Move them in. They are an asset, Kiwi. Use them. And that has gone very well for Kiwi. Levelers down, getting focused. Gilly's there as well. Having to retreat. We have got a Vanguard. Now, a lot of people don't realise, but Vanguards are radar jamming. So if you have radar and you have a group of Vanguards, an area sort of approximately this sort of size will have no pips in it. Vanguards are stealthy, big lumbering machines of stealth. Oh, I haven't seen this though, but look at that. Kiwi knocked out Nick's little base here on these 4 mechs, but he will not be able to hold against this army. This is a huge army from Nick here. 110, that is a significant... That's half of Nick's entire force in that blob. We did have some fabs there, but they will not survive. I'm going to try and send them back, but I think they will be outrun and outgunned here by the docks. They will get chased. Control attack move means the faster units are allowed to move at their speed. There's the rest of Kiwi's forces coming around the back. Again, the ecos are relatively stable now. Nick's been brought down a peg. He was 100 mechs higher. Oh, look at this. We've got stealth on both sides. How are they supposed to see what they're doing? I don't know. I think someone has anti-Vanguard binoculars. Whoop. Right on the noggin. Still alive, though. Cheller at the back, focusing that down. Allows the radar to do its business. Nick coming in, having a little bit of a scout with his air. Look at this, in the base. Loads and loads of fabs assisting out factories. I reckon this factory could probably stop producing fabricators right about now, but it's not up to me, really. Bumblebee's coming out. Kiwi realising Nick's not really contesting the air game, and so is feeling a bit more bold to go for bomber play. Again, look at this. Every army has some fabs in it. That's not really what you see in mid-level games. Every army has some fabs behind, following up to reclaim territory as the army moves in, sweeps through and out the other side of expansions. Look at this, air fabs, bot fabs, everything that is taken gets replaced very, very quickly. Here, look at this though, the bumblebees. The bumblebees have been revealed. There are some spinners there for anti-air. The bumblebees are gone, but that army has a big old chunk out of it. Spinners are gone again also, and now Nick, seeing this, might pop up a couple of extra air fabs, air factories rather. I'd be surprised if he didn't. Because that was very much a flex from Kiwi. How many air factories have we actually got from Nick? Only 3. That's not good enough, I say. Compared to the 5 from Kiwi. Struggling with eco again. Both players trying to get up some T2 eco in their bases at this point, knowing that the middle they can't really rely on to keep bolstering their production. They've got to move up to that T2. Very heavy supply of Infernos in these armies. Just to give them that little bit of extra staying power. Levelers and ants from Nick. Kiwi turning tail and running, realising he's not going to get in. This game is a lot like getting into a swimming pool. Afraid of the cold. When you've got a T2 bot army against a T2 vehicle army, that is very much how it works when you've got slammers against levelers. Oh, we've got some pelicans coming out. What's Nick trying to do with those? An Ares. Ooh. Nice. Very nice. I like it. I like it like that. Ooh. The Vanguard's up the back here. Maybe that's what the Pelicans were doing with the transports. More bumblebees still. This is a significant amount of bumblebees. Last time we saw Kiwi was on a naval game. He has a penchant for bumblebees. He's got 48 now. That's Commander Snipe territory. Nick's commander getting up some Galata around there. He's worried about it. T2 air from Nick, though. That will balance the tables. And storms as well to supplement the ground forces. That will keep the bumblebees away nicely. The flak. The mobile flak. Told you Nick would respond with an air factory of some sort. Bringing out the Phoenix. Here we go. Vanguard sneaking in on the back there. Getting in close. Up close and personal. Got a few attacks happening at the same time now. We've got Nick trying to push in against Kiwi's front line there. We've got Kiwi raiding the back of Nick. As well as we've got an Ares coming up in Nick's base. So much happening in this game right now, but this force is quite a hefty force. Nick's going to have to reroute a few units off the frontline reinforcement mode to go and deal with this. Oh, and the air engagement. Nick's waiting for the opportunity, trying to goad over some flak, perhaps. Oh dear, that's all of the anti-air just gone. All of the hummingbirds gone, flying over the flak, and there is no more air force. Oh my word, it evaporated. Kiwi committed there against the Phoenix. Against the slight area of effect of the hummingbirds. And I think that was a GG explosion. It was. As Kiwi was getting encircled at the same time. The all or nothing didn't quite work out. And that's why maybe you should scout as a pro player, but no one does that anymore, you'll see. Look at this. Boop. 0 information. So how on earth are you supposed to snipe a commander with 0 information? Look at that, though. The Air Force grouped up. That was the clincher. Look at these. They group up. They get focused down as they group. And then the bumblebees have nothing left. The commander surrounded by anti-air. Could do nothing. Kiwi realizing that that was it. Look at the numbers there. Down to 60. Ground forces had been finally taken out. He had nothing left to defend. Apart from an army of fabricators. 30 strong. 40 strong, in fact. That's a ridiculous number of fabricators, but there we go. What a game. Well, let me know how you thought that game played out, folks. What did you learn? What's your favourite bit of that game? Let me know, as I already said down in the comments. Hope you enjoyed. And stick around for more PA on the way very, very soon indeed. As always, I've been Marshall. And have a good one.